Hello. Today I am going to talk about The Face, January 1984, November 1984, March 1985, June 1985. Stylist Ray Petri has had a tremendous influence on fashion, in particular men's fashion. He was principally a menswear stylist and one of the first to use sportswear within a fashion context and combined it with tailoring. He also introduced the skirt as an alternative to pants and, in some instances, removed trousers altogether. But one of his biggest contributions was the use of black and mixed-race models at a time when non-white male visibility was very low in fashion. The important thing in good styling, he said, is the person. Once you have the right face, it all falls into place. Prior to 1984, there were strict divisions in menswear. There was tailoring, which is where fashion positioned itself. There was sportswear, workwear and uniforms, and casual wear like jeans and t-shirts. Progressive stylists, of which Petri is undoubtedly, eroded those divisions by mixing garments from the various categories. His first image in The Face appeared in the August 1983 issue and is part of a story styled by Helen Roberts about summer sports. It was shot by photographer Jamie Morgan, who would become Petri's closest collaborator, shooting all of the editorials I will discuss. Together, they would form Buffalo, a catch-all term used to describe not just the hard posturing of the male models in their shoots, but also the style of the models, musicians, and assistants with whom they worked and hung out with. In this picture, the lifeguard on the right, Petri creatively packed a lot of information about athleticism, championship, and masculine strength within that close-up. He would use similar signifiers for his very first cover a few months later, the image on the right. The following month, he had a two-page spread where he focused on sportswear again. Cycling clothing, as seen on the right, would be used as a foundation for many of his stories to follow. Cycling shorts in particular would become a trend in London, one of the many he would initiate, the biggest being the MA1 bomber, which was worn by the Buffalo crew, becoming the most indispensable outerwear garment of the 1980s. His first cover was for the January 1984 issue, and it was a turning point for both his career as well as for The Face. It signaled a shift in sensibility towards men's style, that a new kind of man had arrived who was unafraid to break the rules. Inside, there was a mixture of sportswear and uniform clothing, like this fireman's raincoat, but it is the lace-up derby shown to be worn with track pants and the tailored coat worn with the Puma ski hat, which signals the true change. In May 1984, he styled a story without trousers, which he would repeat in the April 1986 issue. It was a look which may have been done in order to create an impactful image, but surprisingly, it was seen 36 years later during the menswear Spring-Summer 2020 collections at both Marni and Maison Margiela. Petri got the cover again with the November 1984 issue, which features a man in a skirt, sparking another trend. The jacket is by Jean-Paul Gaultier. Gaultier was a fan of London style and in particular of Ray Petri. For his Spring-Summer 1985 collection entitled And God Created Man, which was shown on October 1st, 1984, a month before this cover, Gaultier showed skirts for men. Gaultier urged Petri to become a fashion designer, saying, "Menswear is all about styling." At this time, Petri used a multitude of accessories like feathers, the sash, and the jewelry in order to create an impactful image, but he would increasingly pull back from the heavy accessorizing and move towards subtlety. It needs to be mentioned that The Face used menswear to push its style and fashion agenda at a time when menswear was a much smaller market. But after the rapid stylistic changes of the 1970s, like glam, disco, punk, and new romantic, Nick Logan, the publisher of The Face, understood that there was room for bolder expressions of men's style, and of course, he was right. The March 1985 cover is Petri's most defining image, featuring 12-year-old model Felix Howard with the word killer torn from a newspaper inserted into his derby. It is an image which was used for the cover for Buffalo, Ray Petri, a book on his work, and The Story of the Face, a book on the history of the Face magazine. Jamie Morgan's cinematic black and white photography needs to be mentioned here, as it was this editorial which ushered in an aesthetic shift from the post-punk eclecticism of the early 80s to a more restrained sensibility in the latter part of the decade. Petri's use of black suits and white shirts dovetailed with the stark minimalism then being proposed by Yohji Yamamoto and Comme des Garçons. For the June 1985 cover, Petri's mission to dissolve boundaries in menswear is completed with this look of the flat cap, sleeveless turtleneck, cycling shorts, and loafers. Petri's casting of a muscular boxer for this look offsets any connotations of femininity which the clothing may suggest. Inside, he pushes the look further by using a pink top and white gloves, yet the image possesses a masculine virility. The tailored vest with the cycling shorts further cements Petri's new and radical proposals. In 1986, Nick Logan launched menswear magazine Arena as a direct result of the success of the menswear editorials in The Face. Logan said that it would have been inconceivable to launch the magazine without Petri's involvement. Petri contributed to Arena until his death in 1989. In 1985, he said, "I do my own thing. I still consider myself to be outside the fashion world. Style is important, and I dress people to enhance the way they already look."